And good evening and welcome to another edition of the post-game show. I'm Ralph Williams, and we finally got moving here. We had a little bit of technical issues, and we finally are able to get up and moving here. My special guest by phone is Smokin' Jim Frazier. Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, very honored to be on as usual, Ralph. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, Smokin' Jim, if you don't know, is my partner and co-host on Sports Corner. We're on every Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m. This year, beginning of the year, we go 2 hours, 4 to 6, starting in January. So we're 5 to 6 till the end of the year every Tuesday. This week, we have Artie Source coming on from Galaxy Sports, soon to be another national sponsor of ours, and also Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune to talk to us about the Jaguars, who the Steelers play next. All right. All right, Smokin' Jim, what have I always said throughout most of this whole season with the Steelers? It's better to be lucky than good. Well, the Steelers got lucky again because the the Rams messed up a ton of times, and Sean McVay messing up on his time management and using all his timeouts instead of saving one for now. He could have called a challenge on that Kenny Pickett, 4th and 1. What do you think of this game as a whole?
I tell you what, man, you called it right, Ralph. Steelers could just as easily be 2-4 as 4-2. They won a very big ball game on the road. Looked like a home game with all the fans, and now they come home to three straight home games. So the Pittsburgh Steelers really get some run off some very nice wins in the next 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, we're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios. 1-877-926-6982 is the number to call. Give them a call. First Line Consulting Services Studios are on for all RW Media shows. And don't forget, you can catch us on YouTube and on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Twitch and Twitter X platforms. But today we're not. I'm having some streaming difficulties, so I was only able to get us on YouTube here. So I hope you're watching on YouTube. Also, I want to talk today about Mike McSorley. Michael McSorley is a boxing promoter, and he has an event coming up at the Hollywood Casino next Saturday, Smokin' Jim. It's going to be, or actually this Saturday, because it's Sunday right now at the Meadows. Starts at 7 p.m. bell time. So make sure you tune into that as well. All right. Smokin' Jim, the defense, they did it at times, and then at times they didn't do it. They let that guy, Luaga or whatever his name is, from the Rams get over 100 yards in receiving. And I got criticized today on Facebook by someone who continued to say I lead a negative life and I have a negative attitude about everything. And I had to literally cuss him out on Facebook on his page because I am not a negative person. I'm a positive person as well. But see, here's the problem with this guy. He's like the normal Steeler fan. He don't see what I see. He don't see what we see. And he doesn't know because he doesn't look at it like we do because we put on a show of sports. So what I'm saying is this guy has a lot of nerve, and I'm not going to mention his name here, but he has a lot of nerve to come on and say on Facebook and say, I'm negative. I'm not negative. I just call it the way I see it. And there's a lot of poor people in this town that have an issue with that. Okay. And I don't know why. No one wants to hear it like it is around here anymore. Everybody's so worried about who they're going to offend. I don't care what I say about the Steelers. The Steelers don't pay me. Okay. All right. But we saw some bad, disciplined football today, Smokin' Jim. And again, the Steelers got lucky. They have to control this. I thought they might have straightened this out during the bye week, but it looks like it got worse. What's your thoughts on this?
On what?
On the bad discipline of the team with the taunting by Deontay Johnson, George Pickens with 2 penalties. What's your thoughts on that?
Not surprised. This has been an issue under the Tomlin administration for a long time, in the locker room, out of the locker room, on the field. And those things can get you in trouble. They got to get George Pickens under control. His body language is bad when he's not getting the football. Very competitive kid, great wide receiver. But somebody got to sometimes you got to sit those guys down like you did Terrell Owens
Right.
every once in a while, and you got to sit them down to get their attention and let them know this will not be tolerated.
Yeah, I know. I think Mike Tomlin just doesn't do that, and I know he was in his ear a couple times today, in George Pickens' ear, and I don't think it worked. But we'll get back to what this guy on Facebook had to say later. I want to go over some AFC North scores: Cleveland 39, Indy 38, Baltimore 38, Detroit 6. I was surprised at that score, Smoking Jim, and I was surprised Cleveland won today because I thought they were going to lose the way Indy was playing, and then all of a sudden at the end they end up winning. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I tell you what, man, I love my Cleveland Brown defense, but they weren't ready to play today. Indianapolis came out, man, they had a perfect game plan for a flat Cleveland team that was still celebrating the San Francisco 49er victory. And they was right at the door, man. They had to win, but on the last play of the game, the mistake by the lake came through real strong. But man, I love that defense Cleveland had.
Yeah, I've said this many times. The hiring of Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator was a great move by Kevin Stefanski. And oh, by the way, Josh McDonough lost today. He got blown out by somebody today, and I'm trying to remember who it was. But the Raiders, they
the
got beat.
Bears, the
The
Bears,
Bears, yeah,
with a
30-12.
quarterback.
Yeah, 30. That's why I keep calling him Josh McDonough. You know what I mean? So I mean, But anyway, other notable scores: Patriots 29, Bills 25. Wow, Patriots coming back here after losing the last few weeks. Atlanta 16, Tampa Bay 13. Oh, I can't wait to tease Peter Blake and Leo Haggerty and them down at Tampa. The Giants 14, Commanders 7. Oh, what happened to the enemy's high-powered offense? It didn't happen today, Smoking Jim. The defense was all over that. Oh my gosh.
We said it was a mistake for him to leave Kansas City, but some people got to learn the hard way.
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but anyway, what was your thoughts today on Joey Porter Jr.? He finally got to start today, played most of the game. What do you think?
I think he's a car wreck ready to happen. This is a guy that will not, he refuses to tackle. I think Deion Sanders made more tackles than this guy's willing
Well,
to
he
make.
missed one today. He missed one. Yeah,
He missed about 7.
Oh, well, I saw
that
one
that
that he missed.
Yeah, he runs out of the way of making a tackle. If you know what I mean.
The way.
Hey, listen, this is a guy that's handsy. He always got his hands on receivers. Sooner or later, the defensive coordinators is going to get to the referee and say, hey, number 24 has their hands all over the receivers all the time. And those penalties are going to start to pile up to hurt the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Me, personally, I could be wrong. I would have traded him for a 5th-round pick. I get rid of him. You know what I mean? I think the experience, as soon as he gave the preseason interception game ball to his dad, I'd have traded him the next day. That's just me.
What's your thoughts on the? I thought the defense as a whole didn't play too bad, considering they gave up some long passes that the secondary shouldn't have. This is how this thing with this Facebook guy got started. Okay, he was mad at me because I kept saying negative things about the secondary. Well, why should I say anything positive when they were getting burned with one guy for over 100 yards? Okay. So why is it that people don't see this stuff here? All right. Like I do, like we do, you and I do. We see this stuff. We look at it. And the way I look at this is Levi Wallace needs to be gone. He's another Witherspoon. He just don't know what he's doing out there, and he looks confused. He gets burned all the time. But what saves his job is he comes up with that one great play at the end of the game, but today he didn't have nothing. So what do you think of this Levi Wall? I think he should be gone.
Well, I tell you what, he's a veteran presence. The Pittsburgh Steelers got rid of Witherspoon last year. He's playing well, and Dotson is playing well out there in LA. I think that the Steeler defense did a horrible job. I thought every running back that the Rams had gained chunks of yards right up the middle.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's something they addressed the whole off season with Omar Khan, man. And I said then it was just picking up other teams' garbage and it's showing. I tell you what, man, some of the routes and some of the catches that the Rams quarterback and receivers were making, man, was second to none. How can you even cover when it looks like the guy's going out of bounds and somehow he gets his toes in, man? It
Mm.
was just unbelievable. But I tell you what, man, as usual, Highsmith and Watt, they're going to make their number of plays. And that interception Watt had, he came out of nowhere, man. I don't think Strapp has seen him at all.
Oh no! And how about this mayor missing these field goals, man? That first one he missed, it dinked off the pole, and it went. I haven't seen a dink like that in a long time. Have you, Smoking Jim? I mean, it just it just dinked backwards, and then he missed another one. It went way left on that 51-yarder. I said he ain't making this. And then he missed an extra point. Oh man!
I thought it was Florida State versus Miami back in the day, man.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Anyway, you're watching the post game show. We have this every post game after the Steelers on daylight games. I don't do the Sunday night games because I don't feel like being up all the way up until 2:00 in the morning or whatever it is, or 1:00 at times. And Monday nights, I'm busy with my podcast and I have other things. So to be up for Monday night games late is not happening. And I get up early Monday mornings because if those of you who don't know, I'm on with Mike Romai every Monday morning at 7:30 to 7:45. We talk sports. And I give the lowdown of the sports over the weekend. Smoking Jim, it's been a bad weekend for sports in Pittsburgh, except for the Steelers. Penguins lost. Pitt lost. The Riverhounds blew their playoff game and have been eliminated from the playoffs already. Their season's done. So I thought, oh no, the Steelers lose. It's really going to be this city's really going to be kicking, I think. But when I got those comments from that gentleman on Facebook today, kind of made me a little upset, but it didn't, because you know why? I've had it before, and and I kindly told him that sooner or later, Smoking Jim, you and I, we're going to be number one in this town. And I want to know what everyone's going to think then when we're number one. Okay. We're going to be number one. I'm pushing for it. And believe me, it's going to happen. It's due to happen soon. It's time. It's our time. Remember Vader? It's time. It's Vader time. No, it's not. It's our time. Okay. And Mike says, hello, guys. He's one of our steady watchers of shows here on social media with us here. Mike, thank you for watching as always. Apologize, we're not on other platforms today. I'm having issues with some streaming, so we were only able to get on YouTube. I had some technical issues as well. I want to talk to you today about a cover band called Bon Journey. Bon Journey is playing November 8th at the Rivers Casino at the Drum Bar, and November 18th at the 31 Bar and Grill. Smoking Jim, you know who owns that?
No.
Kenny Reckett.
Wow.
Former Penguin goalie. He owns that place. Yeah, it's called the 31 Bar down in Bridgeville. They'll be playing there on November 18th. That's one of their new spots to play. So head on down there, say hi to Kenny Reckett. Enjoy Bon Journey and the Rivers Casino at the Drum Bar. I've been there at that Drum Bar over there, Smoking Jim, for a couple of the Bon Journey songs or shows over the years. And I don't like it in there. It's too crowded. You get in there and it's like you got everybody hovering over you, and most of these people smell like booze. You know what I mean? So I'll go see them if they're at the Rivers, if they're at the outdoor amphitheater, and I don't know why they don't put them out there when the weather is right, because they've sold out that amphitheater already. Yeah, I don't know why they don't put them out there. They keep putting them at that Drum Bar. So I mean, I won't go there to see them if they're at the Drum Bar. I refuse to do that. I've had liquor poured on me. I've had all kinds of issues. Like I said, people smell like a brewery and they hover all over me, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? It's too congested in there. So I just leave it go. But anyway, that's where Bon Journey is going to be one of the sponsors of all my programs here. Smoking Jim, what was your thoughts on the offense, despite the fact they didn't really move the football much till the fourth quarter? Terry Bradshaw said at the post game on CBS that Kenny Pickett is a fourth quarter quarterback. I believe that to be the case. What do you think?
Well, I tell you what, 100 yards the whole first half, and man, turned it on in the second half. Man, I tell you what, football's a game of momentum, and I
Right.
think that T.J. Watt turned around the momentum of the game, and I expect that from the greatest player in Steeler history, in my opinion, which is T.J. Watt. And I think that the rest of the team fed off of it. I think Najee Harris fed off of it. I think that Kenny Pickett fed off of it, and I think the fans that took over the stadium from Pittsburgh fed off of it.
Oh yeah, everywhere the Steelers play away games now, and of course we have some of the most great fans that live, out of town, and everything like that. So I mean, but we have that going on, and it happens every time. I mean, it really does. Uh, it's great to see those fans are like that because you don't see them anywhere else. And the Steeler fans are just all over the place. Terrible towels. Troy Polamalu was there. It was nice to see him and his family. So that was nice to see there. I was
Was
trying
he
to.
there? Was he there?
Yes,
Was
he
he there
was.
to watch the Steelers, or was he there to see that Samoan receiver for the Rams? I'm not sure. I like to talk to Troy. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I like to find out,
I was pretty upset with the Steelers, and I almost dissolved myself from the Steelers. Period. After the way they treated him on his retirement. I mean, they
He
literally,
should have been able to get one more year.
yeah,
He
they
should have been
literally
able to
pushed him
serve out
out.
his contract. I agree.
Okay, Paul says Harris and Warren were impressive today. Glad you're doing this show, Ralph. Well, that's great, Paul. Thank you. And I've had some great reviews on this show. When we did it 2 weeks ago, was myself, my friend Steve Spates, who's my normal co-host on here. Smoking Jim's filling in today because normally the home games, Smoking Jim's at those games. He's either at those games or he's at the sports book there at the Rivers Casino. They're hurting, Smoking Jim. They're hurting, man. Hey, I missed you on Thursday night.
Thanks, man. How was it?
Oh, it was great. It was great. John didn't say too much to me. He said hello to me. That was about it. I got to meet your buddy Nick.
Nick was here.
Yeah, Nick was there. Yeah, I got to meet him.
Did he win? Did he win something?
Yeah, L won 2 awards for that craft show he does on BPTV, and then he won it for another show that he does. I mean, he does 1,000 shows on there. So I mean, he's the man of 1,000 shows. So.
Yes, he is.
But anyway, Sportsline didn't win. Keith Platt won.
That's good. Good for him.
Yeah, it was good that Keith won that. Yeah, that was great.
He got a press pass, and now he got an award as well.
Yeah, I wish I could get a press pass, but that's beside the point. That's beside the point. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just not going to do it tonight. I'm not in the mood. My favorite program comes on in 7 minutes. It makes me happy. That's All in the Family.
Oh man, I tell you what, man, I know every one of them by heart, brother.
Oh, so do I. You know what? The All in the Family and Sanford and Son.
Yes, those are my two of
I
my
want my daddy's records.
yeah.
I want my daddy's records. I like the one. When him and Lamont were in Hawaii for that Junkman's convention, and they bring the pig out, right? Because they were having roasted pig, and Fred says to Lamont, he says, "You big dummy, you didn't tell me." He goes, "Tell you what, Pop?" He says, "You didn't tell me Esther was here."
That was good.
Oh, he says, "You didn't tell me Esther was here." All right, let's get back to this post-game show. The tight ends really weren't involved. Connor Hayward had one catch. I think two. No, he had 2 catches. But the tight ends weren't involved. Washington hasn't even had a catch this season. And that Rodney Williams, he tried to catch that one ball, but it was kind of out of place. What's your thoughts on these tight ends?
I'll tell you what, the easiest throw to make in football is to the tight ends. They're big. It's right over the middle. It's a straight shot. I don't know why they don't get more involved. You can't beat having a tight end that's 6'7", 267 pounds, like Washington. I don't know why he's not more involved. Now they do throw the FRAZIER move when he's healthy. We don't know when that'll be again since he's on injured reserve, but very surprising. Same way
Yes.
with the University of Pittsburgh, rarely throwing the Bartholomew, who I think is the best
I
at
think he's
tight
a
end in
great tight end.
football.
Yeah, he should win that
Yeah.
award this year. Despite
Well,
the fact that
the
the
kid, the
record's
kid for
terrible.
Georgia wins every year. The kid
Oh
for
yeah,
Georgia, Power, he'll
yeah.
win every year, whether he does anything or not. But I agree with you, Bartholomew. If I was drafted, he'd be the first tight end I would take.
Oh, absolutely. He's a good blocker, has great hands,
Yeah,
and he makes
yeah,
the plays you need him to make to catch the football. And
yes, sir.
it's really sad. I'm not going to talk about Pitt from yesterday. It's really sad about them losing that game. 55 seconds. I was DJing last night, right? 55 seconds left. I checked my phone to see what the score of the game was. 55 seconds. We were up 21-17. I said, "Oh, great. We're going to win this game." And we had the football. And then all of a sudden, it was 24-21 was the final. And I said, "What the heck
Wow.
happened here?" You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I watched it the replay on YouTube, and I said, "Oh gosh, here we go again. Penalties out of the yin yang, an undisciplined football team." And then I found something very interesting out, and I'll share it with you guys tonight. Although I was going to keep it a secret until Tuesday. Pat Narduzzi has been removed from the list of candidates for the Michigan State job. So
Wow.
my prayers have not been answered because I wanted
Right.
him to take that job so he gets out of here. All right. And I made a comment tonight that probably didn't suit well with the Pitt folks, but I don't care. Just like the Steeler fans that accept mediocrity, the donors and the alum need to get together and they need to come up with some kind of a plan and go to the administration and tell Heather Lyke to do something about this coach and this team. This 2-5 is unacceptable to me. It is. I'm only someone that's a fan of Pitt since I was little. I used to watch them back in the day. I watched Dan Marino play. I went to the games at Pitt Stadium. My grandfather and I went all the time, and we were faithful to that. Followed them through the '80s and through the '90s and through the Not My Fault Walt era and Dave Wannstedt and all that other stuff. And right now this is the lowest of the lows for the Pitt football team once again, and they have to win every game to become bowl eligible. In fact, if I was them again, I would turn this bowl game down. I wouldn't even go. I'd be embarrassed. Okay, if they do go to a bowl game, because I remember the one year they lost some bad games by like a couple points that they probably should have won. And I remember they were 6-5. They were supposed to go to some bowl game. I think it was the COVID year, and the team said no, they didn't want it. So so there we are. Turn down money. I would never turn down money. Would you, Smoking Jim?
No way.
All right,
No
there we
way.
are. You have any comments you want to say about the game today, or anything you want to bring up? I thought Boswell
Well,
did good as usual. So
well, the comments I have is that, listen, I think I've been saying it all along, and I'm going to continue saying it now. I think he's a Pro Bowl left tackle, Dan Moore. I thought he played one of the best games I've ever seen a left tackle play. If you go back and watch the game, he totally dominated from the left tackle position.
yes, he
And
did.
I'm making a prediction,
Go ahead.
and I got this partly from you, so I got to give you credit because you gave me this vision. I'm going to make this prediction next year. Dan Moore is your starting left tackle, and Broderick Jones is your starting right tackle, and the African is out of here.
Yeah. Oh, I want Okafor out of here. I can't stand him.
Okay.
He gets penalties
Okay.
every game, and he's horrible. Horrible. I can't stand. I don't know why the Steelers gave him that extension. I could never understand that at all. And then on top of that, too, not only did they give him that extension, he plays every game. Did you see Dotson today? He looked pretty good. He plays the right side.
He sure did.
Yeah.
He did, man.
Yeah, and Witherspoon really didn't look too bad until that one play. But let me say this. And this has been going on for a while now with Tomlin. And every time someone leaves the Steelers, they go somewhere else and do better.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
very true.
even Kendrick Green was on a roll until he got hurt. So, I
Yeah.
mean, down there in Houston. So, I mean, but see, here's the reason why, Smoking Jim, and I've said this many times. It's because of Coach Mike Tomlin. I think that I think he has no idea what he's doing. None. All right. And Brian, I was keeping up today on Facebook with Brian Pasquale from the Hey Peanut Sports Show, and he said, this guy has no clue. You know what I mean? I mean, 17 years of coaching, as a head coach, and you have an undisciplined football team today. And they got lucky because the Rams did worse on penalties and missing and leaving points on the field when they missed those 2 field goals and 3 field goal actually, plus the extra point. They left 7 points on the field. Okay. And bad clock management and bad game management by Sean McVay. Okay. And I don't get that because he's got some good coordinators there that say, hey, we got to be careful here. There we are. What do you think of this today? The clock management with the Rams and everything.
Well, I tell you what, man, sometimes you got to have, there's so many coaches today. I don't know why they don't have a special coach that understands the rules that can get into your ear. Hey, let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning. Don't use all your timeouts before the 2-minute warning, because if you have to throw that red flag,
right
after the 2-minute warning, you're okay because it's going to be reviewed up in the booth. But
Absolutely.
before the 2-minute warning, you have to have a penalty to activate that red flag, and that cost the Rams an opportunity, to come back and tie the game up.
Oh yeah, I want to say congratulations today, Smoking Jim, to our good friend Bubba Brewer, who got married yesterday. So
wow.
I want to wish him. I want to
Bubba.
congratulate him and wish him good fortune with his marriage. And it's great to hear that he got married. And I sent my congratulations out to him. I've been teasing him a little bit. I don't know if he went on his honeymoon or not, but I said he was in Hawaii on his honeymoon. So so he was at I think he was at the retired wrestlers convention down in Hawaii. Retired wrestlers convention. Hey, I tell you what, Smoking Jim, Tuesday's going to be a great show. We have Artie Source coming on from Galaxy Sports, and we also have Scott Morganroth from South Florida Tribune, one of our national sponsors. He's coming on. We're going to hear about what the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing. And next week, Halloween, I'm working on getting Brian Pasquale to come on, call in so we can talk sports as well. And it's pretty much an open show. So we'll be taking most of your phone calls next week for Halloween. And who knows, I might wear a mask.
That's why I call you the booking machine.
That's right, man. I book these guests like you wouldn't believe. And don't forget, November 7th, we have a college basketball summit. Now, I was unable to get Chris Shefflin on. He had a scheduling conflict. But I do have Tad Morey coming on from Duquesne, and I have Noah Howes coming on to talk about Pitt. The basketball season is getting started for college. We're also going to talk about the football teams. Duquesne hasn't done too bad this year, and Pitt, we know where they are, and we'll talk some more about that as well. And I'm working with Robert Morris to try to get someone to come on. I might even be able to get Coach Toole to come on, Andy Toole. So let's see what happens. It's the basketball summit, November 7th, right on Sports Corner every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 1230 AM. Myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. And we are also live on their website, Beaver County Radio's website, and their phone app, and www.rwmedia.org. And I have one new sponsor coming, Smokin' Jim, the show on Tuesday. So it's going to be great. We'll all find out who that is on Tuesday.
Oh, great!
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
And before you go, let everybody knows what happens in January on Tuesdays.
It's going 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
that's it. January 2nd, we're having the Year in Sports Review. I have Brian Pasquale in the studio with me, maybe Scott Kincaid, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree and yourself, and we're going to have a blast talking sports, the year in sports review, January 2nd, first time ever on Beaver County Radio. It's happening. It's going to be happening. Oh yeah, first time ever on Beaver County Radio. So guess what? That's where it's going to be, Tuesday, January 2nd, and then we go 2 hours the rest of the month and throughout the year, and that's going to be tremendous. We go 4 to 6. That gives you more time to call in, and it also gives more time for us to talk, because I have trouble squeezing in all my information that I have for every show because I only have 1 hour. I bring 4 hours of information for 1 hour show. But you know what, though? There's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't, because that means I'm prepared, and I do that all the time. Like the one time we were supposed to have, a couple times it happened to us at the last minute. We were supposed to have guests on, and last minute they had some issues, so they couldn't come on. And you always have to scramble, but I don't scramble because I was already prepared if that happened. So I mean,
that's why you're the best on radio, brother.
Hey, no, I appreciate that, man, and you're coming along with me, man. And, you're on the ship, and our ship is moving, while the other ones are still docked. Okay, our ship is moving. So and not only are we on the local perspective, national perspective, I have a mailbag as thick as it can be for Tuesday. I'm going to try to get everybody's comments in. Our mailbag every week is just like stacks up on my email. It's crazy. And I'm glad. I'm happy that everyone's watching, not only just locally but nationally. I mean, we got people up in McGrath, Alaska, watching. We have people in Texas. We have people in California, of course. We have people all over the place that are just tuning into the show. Raleigh, North Carolina, Florida. I mean, it's crazy. So however you want to say Florida, you can say Florida or you can say Florida. Florida. So, But anyway, and they're enjoying the sun down there, and we're up here, and it's like fall cold right now. So but I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, tune into all our W Media shows. Don't forget my YouTube channel. Subscribe. We're up to 116. I'd like to try to get to 120 by the end of the year, and then that way next year we can focus on getting to 200. So let's try to do that as we go along here. And don't forget, Thursday night, Smoking Jim Frazier, myself, Mark Mancini, Bubba Brewer, and Wrestle Talk. And we have a lot to talk about. We start at 7:30 on Thursday this week. We're going to be on for a full hour. Oh, my gosh, I have stuff for you you're not going to believe. Oh, man. Hey, you know what, Smoking Jim, while we're on the topic of wrestling, Eddie Kingston lost his ROH title last night.
Wow. Wow.
It was sad. It was in a street fight against Jeff Jarrett and his gang, because the whole gang got involved, and they beat him to a pulp. So he lost his ROH title last night, and Sting announced he's retiring. Yeah, that's going to be kind of sad. Sting's a good, great performer in professional wrestling. All right, Smoking Jimmy, have any final comments about today's game, other than the fact that it's better to be lucky than good as usual?
No, I tell you what, man, I enjoyed being on the show. Thanks for inviting me, Ralph.
You're welcome anytime. You're welcome anytime you're available. I know, like I said, the home games you're not, but I mean, this was an away game. It was a daylight game. You're always invited to come on and join us. My regular co-host, Steve Spates, who usually joins me from, he lives in Niagara Falls, New York. He is sick today, so he was unable to be on. And Bubba, he was on with me 2 weeks ago, and of course he got married last night, so he wasn't going to be on today. I knew that. So but I always want to try to have somebody on with me for this post-game show, and I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. We had some great views, a lot of great views 2 weeks ago. We had over 45, and that's not bad for a first show. And I've been getting some good positive comments. People like this post-game show. We don't kiss nobody's butt. We tell it like it is, right, Smoking Jim?
That's right. That's right.
So I'll tell you what, though, there is a media colleague of ours that's starting to come around a little bit about Mike Tomlin, at least on his radio show. Now, I know he has to put on his poker face around Mike Tomlin. I think some of us pretty much know who I'm talking about, but he's now starting to make comments about, maybe it's time for Mike Tomlin to step down. Maybe it's time for, you know what I mean? And coming from him was kind of surprising. What do you think?
I don't know who you may be talking about, but yeah, I'm not surprised though.
Yeah, I think you do. He hosts the
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin press conference and the Mike Tomlin show.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you a hint. He works for KDK.
Okay.
All right, I think you know who I mean now.
Okay. Yeah.
The one who promised me to help me out in radio, and he stuck it to me. I think you know who it is.
Yeah. But yeah.
And and we're still not
Wishful
on the
thinking.
showdown, and we're still not on the final word. So I don't know.
Yeah, wishful thinking. Mike, mediocre Mike's not going anywhere
Well,
except
no,
for on his own terms.
I think he. I heard him make a comment. He was on a sports podcast. I'm trying to remember which one it was, and it showed up on Twitter that he made a comment that he doesn't want the Steelers to give him an extension yet. He has one more year on his contract. He said he might be looking to step away. I think the job's getting to him.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Because
I'm surprised
well,
because he still loves
see
it.
here, Smoking Jim. He wanted more power. He wanted
Oh,
to
I
be in
got you.
charge. The
You're
last
right. Yeah,
five,
you're
6
right
years,
about
he's
that.
been bugging Art Rooney II to be in charge. When
You're right
Colbert
about
left,
that.
he didn't want him. He didn't want him to bump up Omar Khan because I'll tell
That's
you
true.
another reason why. Okay, he wants power, and he wanted to be the GM and the coach, and he kind of
Yes.
wanted to be in charge. And Art
Yes.
Rooney II said, "No, I just want you to be the head coach." And I think he kind of got what they call insulted by it. But I don't, first of all, Art Rooney II is looking at it this way. Look at some of his drafts, some of the ones that he's done with Colbert. Can you imagine him being in charge? You think
Wow.
about that for a minute,
Very
okay?
good. Very good point. Very
You
good
think
point.
about that for a second. And how many people have blown it being a GM and a head coach? How
Yeah.
many? How many have we seen blow
Yeah.
that gig?
Yeah. That's
You
true.
know, what's his face? Bill O'Brien. He was a GM and coach down at the Texans. Look at what the Texans did when he was in charge down there.
Yeah.
You
True.
see what I'm saying? You can't do both jobs. It's hard to do. It's not workable. Paul says, are Tomlin and Arduzzi meeting secretly at Acrisure Stadium for their game plan together? My sources say they are. Yeah, they are. I think they share notes. I made that comment, Paul, on my Facebook page. I think they share notes because they both have bad offenses. It's called the South Side curse. I think the South Side, facility there is a curse or something. Maybe I don't know. Something's wrong here, and the sad part about it is, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Smoking Jim, they accept this mediocrity, and it's wrong. So, well, Smoking Jim, it's time to hit the road. Do you have any more comments you want to make before we close up?
No, sir.
All right. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Smoking Jim, for being part of the show. This has been the post-game show every time right after an afternoon or a mid-afternoon game. We will be here with the post-game show. Myself, Ralph Williams, Steve Spates, and anyone else we can find. We're even getting people off the street. Off the street. No, I know too many people. We're not getting anybody off the street. I know too many people. So anyway, but anyhow, don't forget to tune in every time after the Steelers afternoon game. Smoking Jim, have a great night. Thank you for being part of the show. And everyone else, thank you for watching and listening. Have a great one. Talk to you again.